I can see the end. I'm a silly man. I'm a silly small man. I'm sorry I got you into this. And how about I get us out of this?
Hey guys, what's going on? We're back discussing Rick and Morty Season 5.
Oh yeah, all you Rick and Morty fans out there, be ready. Season 5 is out, and is Rick and Morty back up to their crazy shenanigans completely unfiltered? Does it stack up to the first 4 seasons? We're about to find out.
All right, Billy, what are we talking about here?
Talking about some Rick and Morty, Josh.
Special guest, Jim Gaffigan. We just saw him.
Yeah, very minute role though, right? Didn't he played a little minor role in this episode, playing this dog guy in some crazy dog dimension.
That's right. So it starts off picking up from last season. They're in outer space. They're getting ready to crash. They're coming down to Earth. Morty is piloting. Excuse me.
Yeah, Rick's kind of all freaking out because he's all beat up and hurt. And Morty's just trying to get them back to Earth safely. And of course, Jessica calls him. Actually, I guess he calls Jessica, right? Calls Jessica and is like, hey, just wanted to tell you I really like you. Sorry we never had the right opportunity. And she's like, oh, well, Morty, I really like you too. Why don't we do some movie time tonight together? So Morty's like, oh, yeah, movie time. All right, I can do that.
Yeah, he figures out how to control that ship real quick.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he does. So he crash lands that ship in the ocean. And then by that time, Rick wakes up and he's like, what the heck's going on here?
What the heck have you done? Why did you touch the water?
Well, we're in the ocean? You mean you touched the water? He's like, yeah, we're in the ocean. And then, of course, then you find out Rick has an arch nemesis, Mr. Nimbus, who is this, I don't know how to...
He's like an Aquaman of the sea in a...
Yeah, kind of... in like a Speedo with his, kind of a junk hanging out in the front there.
Yeah, and he's got some unusual special powers.
Yeah, he does. So you find out Rick's got this arch nemesis, Mr. Nimbus, who is the king of this ocean, the king of the sea. And evidently they've got some kind of peace agreement going where Rick will never touch the water and Mr. Nimbus will never come touch the land. But of course, Morty just blew it by crash landing their ship into the oceans. That's kind of how it all picks up here, and this episode kind of takes off.
Yeah, and Mr. Nimbus comes to the house and then makes some demands, and they're like, we're just going to call the cops. And he's like, go ahead, call the cops.
I control the cops.
And they're like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, why would this fish guy control the cops?
Right, yeah. So then, of course, the parents call the cops, and the cops show up, and the fish guy tells the cops to do some crazy Rick and Morty-ish type stuff. And
they continue with the inappropriateness of the show. The cops ask, like, well, what color are you? And he's like, I don't see how that's relevant, but we're
I'm
white. And then the cops are there like that.
Right. And they're there in like 2 seconds. So they're having this peace accord, right, at Rick and Morty's house. And so Mr. Nimbus is trying to sign the peace accord with Rick. And, of course, he's very kind of stuck up. That's what I'm looking for here. He's a narcissist, basically. And thinks, his crap doesn't stink and he's the best thing in the world. So so Morty and Rick had this wine, but it's not aged enough. So Rick has Morty toss his wine into an alternate universe where it'll age really quick. So they do, and then Mr. Nimbus gets there and Rick sends Morty out for the wine. Morty gets it, and this is where we meet Jim Gaffigan. So Morty goes out to this, I don't know, like I said, the dog universe, I guess, right? All the people are dogs. And
they're just like storing it in the yard, it looks like.
Yeah, so this wine's just sitting in this farmer family's yard, and Jim Gaffigan, he's like, hey, let me give you a hand with that, young man.
So, whippersnapper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he picks up the wine and follows Morty back into Morty's dimension.
Right. So, but of course, the reason Morty threw that wine in the other dimensions because that dimension moves faster in time than Morty's does. So the 2 seconds that it took for this guy to help Morty, he goes back to his dimension, and his family is... his wife's dead. His son's like in his late teens, early 20s. And then he kills his dad and says, I blame you for leaving mom. So, right. And then it gets kind of crazy after that. So then Morty, comes back, sees what happened. And by this time, like time's already, gone up forward again. This guy's probably like in his 60s or something. And he attacks Morty, but Morty barely makes it out of there with his life. And and it just gets kind of crazy after this.
Yeah, then Morty goes back. He's like, screw this. I'm going to take care of these people. He grabs like weapons out of the garage, goes in there and takes out a couple of them, but he leaves like a robot hand or something like that.
Yeah. So, they built up a castle, right? Because these people are like, oh, this freaking crazy, weird kid, this alien kid comes back every so often. And so they built up this huge castle and fortress, and then they try to trap Morty, and then that's where, Josh is saying that he goes back, gets his robot gear on, and comes and starts blasting everybody, and he explodes the castle, but he leaves his robot hand behind. And then fast forward again, like another 200 or 300 years, or however many years.
And he's giving the wine to Nimbus, who's drinking it and throwing it against the wall, so he's
saying,
constantly having to get more wine. And every time he goes back, of course, it's been many, many years, and these people have heard about Morty and this guy who's wronged them, so they're constantly like preparing for him to come back.
Right, exactly. Well, and then of course during this whole time, Jessica came over, right? Because they're supposed to have movie night. So Jessica's sitting on the couch like, "Hey, Morty, why don't you get us a little bit of that wine?" So Morty's like, "Yeah, baby, I got you. Maybe we'll get some of that wine too. All right." So he's doing his back and forth stuff for Mr. Nimbus, and he can never actually quite get back to the room with Jessica for the wines. Of course, she's like, "Hey, Morty, what's going on here? I'm waiting for this wine. Where you at?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm coming." And so eventually she gets wrapped up to it, and she gets sucked into this alien universe by these dog people who are now beyond Earth's technological capabilities at this point. And she gets frozen in time for like 1,000 years or something, right? So then Morty goes back to save her, but when he does, they've got her, like I said, they've got her frozen in this crystal. So they unfreeze her. Rick comes in, all kinds of craziness breaks loose like it always does in Rick and Morty. They end up freeing Jessica. They get out of there. Nimbus comes in to help out and does his crazy shenanigans. And, they all escape Dogland. And poor Morty, Jessica, since she's been in Dogland, frozen in time for however many thousands of years it is, she's watched time pass by. So now she's got this idea that she's like some kind of time god because she never died and lived thousands of years watching time. So now she's like speaking in this monotone voice, and then she's like, "Morty, I think we need to be friends." And then she leaves, and some guy's like, "Hey, baby," and she's like, "F you, I'm a time god."
This is a really cool episode. A lot of fun scenes. I love like the dog people and what they got going on. I like the Nimbus stuff as well. Yeah, I mean, just really fresh and good.
A lot of sexual stuff in this one. Like, Rick and Morty's like that. You got some episodes that have a lot of sexual stuff, and you got some that don't have much. This is one of the ones that are really pushing the envelope on that, especially with Rick's parents and Mr. Nimbus.
Frisky with each other, and then they're talking about having threesomes with Mr. Nimbus.
And then Mr. Nimbus makes the cops have sex with each other on the front yard, and it's just, it's a really crazy episode. Definitely don't let you, not that you would let your kids watch this anyway, because anybody who watches Rick and Morty knows that this is not a kid show whatsoever, but this episode is definitely not for kids at all.
I like how it's illogical for like him to control the police, and then people are questioning like, how is this guy controlling the police? And Rick is kind of like, he controls the police. Right, what's the get here?
Right, just you need to understand it. He just controls cops. It's fine. Yeah. So overall, it's definitely sticks to your Rick and Morty. It's just your craziness. A lot of it just doesn't make sense like the show does, and it just leaves you wanting more. It really just leaves you wanting more. It reminds me
of like Terminator when they leave the arm behind. They're trying to replicate that technology, so a little bit of that going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also another scene when he goes back to Dogland or whatever. There's like one family member that's kind of cast away, and some other guy's like, "Hey, let me take you under my wing and show you what's good." Right. And then he like kills, what was his dad or
it was the king's son. So he takes the king's son under his wing. Yeah.
He kills like the king, and then immediately that guy kills that guy. So he takes over the throne, and then Morty comes. He's like, "Holy crap!
Shit is real."
So there's a lot of funny stuff going on.
But again, it's definitely your typical Rick and Morty, just crazy shenanigans. A lot of it's just nuts, the way they put all this stuff together, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. And you're just like, wow, that's, these writers are just phenomenal. I mean, how they come up with this crazy stuff, it blows me away.
Yeah, I also really like where he's like, you cannot go into the ocean. He's like, the place I take a crap in.
Right. He's like, next rule, no crapping in the ocean. And then of course the whole time Ricky's blaming Morty for everything. See, Morty, if you just hadn't touched the ocean, But so overall it was good. It was, like I said,
kind of interesting too, because Rick, when he goes to Dog World, like Morty's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you always screw things up. Don't worry, I got this. And he shoots like one of the I don't know what the heck,
the robot thing,
dragon thing, and then that immediately deflects and comes back at him, and they strip him of his clothes, so he has nothing. Right. And he's kind of powerless.
And he's like, "Whoa, that was pretty cool."
And then of course Nimbus comes in and bails him out.
Yeah. So awesome episode. So, what do you think, Josh, compared to the first 4 seasons?
This is a good one. This is definitely one of my top episodes. Yeah. It's up there with some of the great ones. So
yeah, no, this is definitely an awesome episode. They start this one off right. I mean, just start this season out with a bang. And it's funny, too, because, right, I mean, it might be hard for them to top this episode. It was so good. I was like, man, these guys did an awesome job. Kind of outdid themselves with this episode compared to a lot of the other ones, that are in some of the other seasons. So if this one started off this good, I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the season is going to go.
Yeah, it's really fun. So how would you rate this compared to other episodes?
Oh, I mean, I would probably give the show an 8 overall. And this episode, I'd probably give a 9. This episode was just great. Again, there's a lot of sexual stuff in this episode, and a lot of people aren't into that, and not saying that I'm into it, but it did tie into the Nimbus character in this episode. So at least they did a good job with it in this episode, kind of giving you the reason why it's there, where some of the other episodes, it's just there and whatever,
I'm not sure if it's any worse than like the Dragon Slut episode or anything like that, but you know what you're getting in. This is Rick and Morty. It's inappropriate.
Exactly,
so.
Yeah. But I give this one a 9. It was a great episode.
Yeah, I think the series is probably at a 9, and this is at a 9 as well. This is definitely, like you said, if this is what season 5 has in store, I'm real excited for it. So
yeah, absolutely.
This is definitely a great episode. Check it out.
Definitely. All right, everybody. Well, that's our review of Rick and Morty. If you like our channel, hit like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next review.
See you guys. Morty season 5.
That sucked.
Okay.
You didn't have to argue me on that one. You're like, yeah, that's probably shitty.
I was like, I don't even know what I was saying.
I squint a little bit the whole freaking time, so I don't look like bags under my eyes, huh? Mr. Baggy Eyes.
Billy, you awake? You awake this time?
Yeah, I'm awake. I'm always awake, man.
You awake? I
don't
don't know. I'm going to finish my drink by the time we get through the intro.
If you like
the first 4 seasons, I don't have anything for you.
We can do it one more time, man.
Why? So you can mess it up again?
Yeah, that's right.
Just mess it up again? All right. What are we talking about here?
Rick and Morty, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Shenanigans.